So here is about being what is the SSB lecture tips for freshers from Adda 241. Table of content SSB lecturate, key points for SSB lecturate, and how to deliver the SSB interview lecturate. SSB lecturate tips for freshers. Many defense aspirants, especially freshers, are always keen to know as how to deliver SSB interview lecturate. Indeed, lecturate is a very important individual task in which many officer-like qualities are assessed. How well the candidate is able to express their thoughts to his team under time pressure is seen in the lecturate part. In this article, we will share some important SSB lecturate tips for freshers as well as repeaters so that you can improve your performance in the SSB interview lecturate when you go for SSB interview. Lecturate is one of the task to conduct is conducted during GTO technique on day 2 of the GTO task. The main motive behind conducting this task is that an officer in the Indian Armed Forces has to take the lead and command his men. He must have the power of expression through which he can motivate his men and lead them wherever he can. Must be able to boost confidence and zeal in his subordinate, and whatever he says should be motivating and effective. This test will somehow give a boost to SSB psychological test to match the OLQs. GTO gives you 3 minutes for the preparation. Key points for SSB lecture is your self-confidence plays a major role here. Speak with full confidence. Your ability to influence the group through your power of expression, your clarity of thoughts, and command over the language you speak. Your confidence and ability to speak under stress and courage to speak in front of the people. How much are you aware of the general awareness and how do you perceive things? Which is your personal opinion about the recent news and current affairs topics? And how to deliver the SSB interview lecturate. You will get a card which would assist of 4 topics and you have to choose one. It totally depends on you what topic you choose and speak on the topic. You have the knowledge and make sure to give some fact and figures about it. Below we have mentioned some tips for SSB interview lecturate. Start your lecturate with good and effective introduction. Make eye contact with your group while speaking. Your body language plays a very important role while you speak. Resist your hand movements. Be very gentle. Stand straight and speak confidently. If possible, a touch of humor will be handy. Give facts and figures, pros and cons about the topic in the main part, and maintain eye contact with your group. To sum up your lecture, use the time judiciously and end up with a good message or your logical opinion or suggestion about the topics. It is supposed to be delivered in the English language. You may switch to Hindi if you get stuck in between what, but revert back to English as early as possible. By reading newspapers and increasing your general awareness about the most common things which could be asked and those which have national international importance would help you in having good content for your topic. Start speaking in front of the mirror loudly. Even speaking and recording your voice is also a good technique to improve for lecturate. Speak slowly and clearly and deliberately during the SSB in lecturate. Don't look at the G2 while speaking. Face your team members. Finish your lecture well in time. Don't exceed the time limit and even don't finish very early. So here check 100 original lecture topics. So go for that. Okay. Here the 100 lecture topics are: first is the global warming. Next, nuclear weapons, T20 cricket, terrorism, women empowerment, foreign direct investment in defense, modernization of Indian Armed Forces, reservation system in India, OFSPA Act, yoga, China, Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, India Sri Lanka relations, sex education, World Trade Organization, Population of India, merits and demerits. BrahMos, honor killing, water scarcity, corruption in India. Start with Startup India, demonetization, e-governance, GST, social media, SARC, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, human rights, media, fourth pillar of democracy, BRICS, Make in India concept, मदर 19 एसएसबी इलाहाबाद में दिया है. किड्स रियलिटी शोज गुड और बैड, कैपिटल पनिशमेंट, स्मार्ट वर्क वर्सेस हार्ड वर्क, नाटो, अल्कोहल बैन इन इंडिया, bullet trains in India, compulsory military training, DRDO, South China Sea, BPO in India, unemployment in India, Indian GDP, democracy, privatization of education, nuclear supplier group NSG and India, women in Indian Armed Forces, online piracy, NASA, NSB Visakhapatnam, next child labor NSC, NSB Visakhapatnam. So latest lecture topics for SSB 2021: dowry system, Indian economy, love marriage versus arranged marriage, MNC in India, organic farming, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, electronic devices, higher education in India, sports in India, 4G mobile communication, development of rural India, rural areas, election commission, fundamental rights, influence of Western culture, new technologies in India, privacy, senior citizens, Supreme Court of India, tourism in India, cyber crime, gambling, justice delayed, justice denied, mercy killing, role of NGO, nuclear power, SSB lecture topics going on, paid media, police duties, role of India in United Nations, use of technology in agriculture, Chinese goods impact on India, cosmetics, a new rage, evolution in telecommunication, India's role in World Forum, industrialization, ISIS, national integration, Naxalism, power and politics, United Nations Security Council, division of states, capital punishment, Indian defense budget, Indo-Myanmar relation, medical science, NDRF, organ donation, R&D in India, sign language, student union, politics and religion. Okay, thank you. And we'll go for one topic out of these topics, which is politics and religion or national integration. Okay, we'll go for national integration. Okay, national integration by the Hindu. Okay, now national integration, one nation, one legislative, it is from by the Hindu. Regular readers of this column would know that even by high standards of the average Indian voter, I am an extremely patient man. Whether it's the corruption of the ruling class or the oppression of the sack, working classes, the sinking economy or the rising unemployment, lynching of minorities or routine caste atrocities, I am prepared to cut our rulers some slack. Why shouldn't I when they are toiling day and night to make life easier for every wealthy Indian living in a first world country? In fact, no government in any country on any planet, in any solar system works as hard as the one elected in May. One elected in May. Since the parliament's productivity has gone up by 500%, terrorism has dropped by 800%, and the country's PCP per capita patriotism has risen by 900%. But all this is nothing compared to what, in my opinion, will be this government's lasting legacy. Its focus on one nation, one blah blah. The phrase blah 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 is a variable like x or y in your school algebra. It can be whatever you want it to be. The genius of one nation, one blah blah is that it strengthens national unity no matter what blah blah is. Try it out. Let's start with the original formulation: one nation, one election. Of course, India is the one country, so why shouldn't all the EVMs in all the states elect their MLAs and MPs on the same day every 5 years? According to government's estimate, one nation, one election would save us enough money to comfortably pay off the combined debt of India's top 12 chronic capitals and still have change left or to buy two Rafales and packet of Vimal Pan Masala. This brings us to the next logical step of national integration: one nation, one party. There is now enough scientific evidence that the chances of finding the opposition party in India are less than the chances of finding water on Mars. So, if every Indian is anyway going to vote for the BJP in election after election, why not update our constitution and make India a single party kleptocracy? One bank account. I read somewhat where the government is also thinking of one nation, one bank account, a super idea. My only humble request is that we should go with Mukesh's bank account. It would overnight wipe out the debt of every single farmer in India and solve the entire middle class's EMI's problem. I am also in favor of one nation, one card, provided it is Mukesh credit card. I also don't mind one nation, one car, but again has to be Mukesh's car. To differentiate it from Uber and Ola, we can call it Moola. While these public unifications are necessary, one mustn't underestimate the importance of extending one nation, one blah blah, into all realms of private life, including the most intimate. For starters, I want the government to amend the constitution to mandate one nation, one shampoo. Right now, the national shampoo scene is a mess. Take my own family. There is no unity in the bathroom. My wife uses a random Korean of organic shampoo. I think it's called Talaivali. Kattabomman uses a baby shampoo, and my father-in-law washes his hair with the Dettol soap instead of a shampoo. As for me, being a true Sanatan Dharmish, I simply wash my head in plain Ganga water, which is superior to the world's most advanced shampoo. My question is, why can't every Indian, Hindus and Muslims, men and women, politicians and lapdogs use the same shampoo? Why not one nation, one shampoo for all hair-bearing denizens of India? Bowl policy. The biggest payoff from implementing one nation, one blah blah in the personal sphere will come from a domain that, if you are not already a victim, you'll have guessed by now. One nation, one laxative. Yes, I know this is a private matter and I don't mean to butt in. However, when personal constipation begins to affect public discourse, it's no longer a personal issue but a matter of public policy. According to the WHO, most Indians are constipated. Look out! Look at our TV anchors. Don't you think their facial expression and general temperament would be considerably improved by a bowel movement? Why do you think there is so much vitriol in our public debates, but be it in TV or social media, and make a long-term constipation? That's why no other region. Bring the whole country under one laxative that works, and see how the nation's collective mood improves. 130 crore Indians will be exchanging smileys for no reason. There has been enough publicity around one nation, one election, and even one nation, one language. But it is one nation, one laxative that the nation needs to swallow and swallow now. अरे भैया क्या हो रही है? Nothing. The story of India's integration. India barely found the inclination to celebrate its independence from Britain On August 15, 1947, communal riots and massive influx of refugees following partition threatened to fragment the fledgling country. Broken, traumatized, it had nothing like the Marshall Plan to cope with the challenges it faced, despite significantly contributing to the Allied victory in the Second World War. It was in such bleak conditions that India took up the task of convincing the heads of hundreds of princely states to accede to it. That it succeeded in doing so in less than 2 years after independence was no miracle. The integration project was the personal achievement of two remarkable men, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and the first Prime Minister, the Home Minister and Deputy Prime Minister in Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet, and his efficient, confident VP Menon. Together, they persuaded the rulers of one princely state after another, nearly 600 in all, to sign the instrument of accession to the Indian state. It helped that India, as the successor state to British India, maintained a tenuous control over the princely states to, as Menon explained, protect their territories against external aggression and to preserve peace and order throughout the country. Largely peaceful. India's integration historian Ian Kaufman observed presented a major watershed. It swelled the area of a new Indian state by over of a million square miles and its population by nearly 90 million people redrew the political map of the subcontinent and overthrew the entire governing order. The process was largely peaceful with a few exemptions, the most prominent being Jammu and Kashmir and Hyderabad. In his book, The Story of the Integration of the Indian Statesman, urged us not think of the project only in terms of the consolidation of the country, but also pause to consider the toils and anxieties that had to be undergone till step by step the office of consolidated India was enshrined in the constitution. The coming together of the fifth of all mankind relatively peacefully into a single state is one of the great events in history and one which we have sadly all but forgotten. Unlike many European universities with centers that study European integration, we have none to look at our own. India's successful integration holds significant lessons for the rest of the world, especially in the countries of Europe and their fitful efforts at coming together. It took nations of Western Europe 13 years following the Second World War to start on their process of integration. This led to the establishment of the European Economic Community in 1958 and later the European Union in 1993. However, the EU remains a tentative and inconclusive experiment with one of its largest members, the United Kingdom, after to exit it. The European political union, which looked a very possible decade back, is not being discussed even as a possibility today. Contrast with India, which achieved both an economic and political union within a few years of gaining freedom, giving its people what Winston Churchill expected Europeans to achieve, but so far have not a sense of enlarged patriotism and common citizenship. Integrating land and people of immense diversities to form one country was no mean task. That this was achieved without the mass murders, so trials and executions which accompanied the rise of the Soviet Union and China makes the story of India's coming together quite the grandest one of the 20th century. The 72nd anniversary of our independence also marks the time when the integration of Indian states commenced in earnest. It is a fine time for us to reflect on this achievement and savor the moment. Now we'll go for integration, national integration, IAS. Okay, national integration IAS SI topic. Let us see by here. Okay, essay on national integration for students in English 500 words, and the essay on national integration, the combined awareness and inclusiveness of countrymen with regard to their national identity is called national integration. The combined awareness and inclusiveness of countrymen with regard to their national identity is called national integration. The spirit of national feeling which unites people of different dialects, beliefs, and religions, castes, and languages is called national unity, defines the political, social, economic, and cultural dimensions of a nation. also enlightens the duties and rights of citizens. In lighter sense, it emphasizes on the customs and rituals of a country as a whole. As our national integration 500 words in India, below we have provided national integration essay in English suitable for class 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10. Noted, we stand divided, we fall. A country can excel and prosper only when its citizens feel safe and stand as one. National integration refers to the feeling of togetherness and oneness that people in a country share despite differences in their caste, creed, religion, culture, region. National integration day is celebrated in India every year on the 19th of November. This date also marks the birth anniversary of the India's first female Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. On this day, many activities like take place, including the National Youth Awards and National Integration Camps. People also come together to promote the spirit of love, unity, and peace. National integration in the Indian context. In a country which has been built on the concept of partition, it is incredibly challenging to achieve national integration. India is a multicultural, multilingual, multi-regional, and multi-ethnic nation. Since the very beginning, the people in India have been divided. There were disputes regarding the national language of the country. When Hindi was declared to be the national language, it upsets a lot of South Indians and they denied to accept it. Some protests and riots took place when a particular caste was not getting OBC status for the purpose of reservation. In this country, from the start, people have always tried to benefit at the expense of others. These differences are what our country aims at reducing and minimizing. The citizens of themselves should understand this and promote a sense of tolerance, consumes, and brotherhood. Features of national integration. There are broadly four main features of national integration. The first and foremost feature is unity. The country is said to be united when its people join together and work towards the betterment of the nation. The second feature is the social homogeneity. A state is socially homogeneous when its people look past their various differences, and treat each other as equals. Loyalty towards the country is the third feature. Commitment to the nation to shown by its people when they are devoted to its growth. The last element in giving everyone equal opportunities can exist only when there is no discrimination practiced and prevalent. Importance and significance of national integration. National integration plays an imperative part in each dimension: social, economic, political, cultural, and emotional and ethical. Economic integration takes charge of the unified fight against evils like poverty, hunger, and homelessness. Social integration ensures all citizens get social justice, social equality, liberty, and fraternity. One fundamental objective of cultural integration is to preserve various traditions, languages, folk dances, and beliefs that prevail in the country. People are united emotionally or psychologically by the country's history and its glory. They are integrated by their national flag, anthem, symbol, animal, mythological epic. It promotes the development of unity. People are able to see past their petty differences and unite for a common motive and goal. It also fills the hearts of people with patriotism towards their country. They feel that it is their moral duty as citizens to be loyal to it and protect their homeland. National integration also helps to curb and eradicate social unrest and chaos and brings about national peace. This peaceful coexistence between all citizens leads them to work more efficiently and hence improves the economic conditions as well as the growth of the country. National integration